I thought the only thing I ever did once in a while, because I was getting too into it, if I was like really trying to turn, if you turn past the like 90-degree point, it like you like turn all the way, and it like it kind of fucked me up a couple times.
Yep.
I was like going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. What game is that from? Why do I know that? What is that from?
Star Fox.
Okay.
I think. Maybe not.
No, I don't know, because they don't have voices in Star Fox, right?
Yeah, they do.
64.
Just like, bah, 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 bah.
No, they talk.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah,
Hey,
some of them do.
Yeah, hey, Einstein.
I'm on your side.
No, it's Hey Genius. I'm on your side in the 3DS version. What a joke, man. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pursuing Pixels. My name's Kevin Portellian. I'm here tonight with John Hines.
Hey there.
And Randall Nolery.
Hey, folks.
And we are back, as always, to talk about some video games. I feel like, I don't know, I just say that every single time, but
it's what we do.
Yeah, nonetheless, that is what we do. And we're getting close to wrapping up the year here. So, John, you have dove into your resolution game a tiny bit, right? You're like off the hook technically.
Technically, but
we've all
in terms of like actual content played, I feel like I've definitely not done the game justice.
You're pulling a me. You're basically pulling a me from previous years.
Unusual.
And this year, because I didn't get all that far into Uncharted 4. But yeah, I guess we can just get kind of right into things, and we'll kick things off here with the newest game that's out. I'm definitely going to get this at some point when I have a machine powerful enough to run it, which hopefully will be soon here. But John, why don't you take the lead here on this one?
Sure. So we've been playing, and I'm including Kevin in this because there's a lot of teamwork that involved with like watching screens and streams, but the boss fight,
I was having a blast.
The boss fight crew that we've mentioned before, our former band and current band, does a band ever die? But we all picked up Arc Raiders by Embark Studios, the PvP extraction shooter that takes place in a post-apocalypse where there are these giant robots called arcs that are roaming topside, and humanity has been forced to be underground because of it. So it's this extraction shooter where you go on these raids to go above ground, get resources, and find an extraction point and leave. But the thing that is, I think maybe the hook of it, I don't know. I've not actually played other extraction shooters. I don't know how like used to the like typical the genre is, but you have this ongoing PvP. So anyone can attack anyone or like be like team up at any given point. It's basically up to the players to decide. So there's a lot of communication. The mics can be open, so like you're talking to other players, and they have a dedicated emote don't shoot command if you don't have a microphone like me.
It seems like an important one.
It is very
Which is
important.
nice that that's an option, that you can get by without having to, be on voice chat.
But I think it's an interesting dynamic because of how like powerful the arcs are. So you kind of do have to either team up or just be very good or have gotten a good loadout over the like different raids that you've done, because there's a free loadout that just gives you a like randomized base level gun and some like generic like healing items. But, the more runs you do, you can craft higher level guns, higher level like healing items or grenades. And like you're trying to go deeper, go further, and get more quality items in order to do that. But you also run the risk of losing it all if you run into some people who decide that instead of, wanting to like team up, that they're like, well, I could just kill you and take all of your stuff. And like, it's a really interesting dynamic of that I've not played. And like, it doesn't start like any other like battle royale, like not everybody's starting raids at the same time. People are coming in and out at different times, and like you aren't tied to like a certain session. The maps are always kind of live in that respect. So there's a lot of, we would load into a map, figure out what our quests were, what our goals were. We would go to a location and then find an extraction point, and then there would just be complications at any point of that. Like we would either start hearing massive amounts of gunfire, and the sound design is, I think, a huge strength of this game, because like
nice,
everything is amplified. You can't do anything quietly. And anytime that you're raiding something, you are basically taking a crowbar to like rusted metal, and it's echoing everywhere. And that not only alerts other players, but it alerts the arcs to you as well. And they're all these like weird like shapes, and like they had like done some machine learning training of the like actual enemy behavior, where they just kind of made skeletons and kind of said is like, all right, generate a pathing or a script on how you would like attack a person. So they all kind of have these like weird unearthly movements to them that is kind of unsettling too. It's great. Like it's a very well like balanced game, and like fun to do like a bunch of different things because of like how you're encountering different people, how like the arcs are always different, and like the conditions of the maps are different. Like it's always a new thing every time that we played it. And like some runs were really good and some runs were just immediate disasters. And like that's the fun of it.
Yeah, it was really fun even just to watch. Like we were all just in the Discord, everyone was chatting, and like John said, I had access to Mikey, our drummer. I had his stream on the Discord, so I was watching him play. And even just in 720p, 30 frames per second, like the stream he was broadcasting looked amazing. Like this game looks really, really good. He's got a powerful PC, so I was probably witnessing some of the benefit of that. But nonetheless, it was just really cool to like watch how like, they would be like planning on, okay, we're going to be doing this. And all of a sudden, like Mikey would just be, he was kind of like the leader of the group, you know, and he'd be like, oh shit, no, we're not going here. We're not going here. Back out. We're going this way. There's like, you know, he's just like, he had played a little bit more than everybody else. Not a ton though, but he was just like, yeah, we definitely don't want to encounter that right now. We're not prepared for this. Like to me, I had compared it at one point to like, it almost reminds me a little bit of like Breath of the Wild, how you'd be like going one way and just exploring around and like, oh shit, a Lionel. Yeah, I don't have enough stuff for this right now. Like, I'm out of here. They had a little bit of that kind of like emergent, not to use like a buzzword, but yeah, like that emergent gameplay. And I love, like you said, John, like when Mikey pointed out that it is like, it's not everybody dropping in at the same exact time. It's like anybody just kind of joining in the moment. And it's just, that's really cool to me. I don't know. Just it's really it seems really well designed, and I can't wait to get my hands on it myself.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more runs, and also to have you join in on the fun too. It's gonna be a fun chaos for a while.
Yeah, and it is. I don't think we mentioned it's teams of 3 is like what the base like team that your like party is, but then like John said, like you can team up with people just on like I guess on goodwill, just being like, hey, none of us can take down this arc alone, but we're all here, and let's just work together on this, and then see what happens after that.
Yeah, that's a really cool design. That sounds super appealing.
Yeah, it even reminded me of Monster Hunter a little bit. Not that I've played that, but just what you've described, like just going in, like you got kind of like a mission that you're trying to take down, or a big, huge boss that you're trying to maybe take down, and then okay, let's get out of here. We got our stuff. Let's blow this joint.
Yeah, like there's always the discourse of is like, oh, should the game be purely PvE and like you're not able to attack other people, but like that kind of constant threat where like you see another person and you're like, are you a friend? Are we cool? Are you gonna attack me? And then you just kind of have to trust them. And it's nice how I think the majority of the time people have been honest. And if they're going to be attacking you, they will just attack you, and they won't like make any other Yeah, well, I don't know. That
they're not going to like walk up to you with their hands up, like white flag waving, and then pull their guns out and blast you.
But every once in a while,
people
you do get that.
Yeah, I'm sure people
get
do
double crossed.
Oh yeah, we've definitely had that happen a few times. But
that's so funny.
But that's fun too. Like it's not like, it seems like a low stakes enough thing too, where you're not like, oh no, we were going for to kill the final boss. It's not that. You know, you're just like, oh, we're just doing another run and getting some more shit, and like it just seems like an addictive loop.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a little more to it than that. I'm not trying to like diminish that. It's just like, oh, just go in and play, shoot some things and get out. Yeah. But I don't know. It just seemed like low stakes enough where like even when you guys like failed and had a bad run, it seemed like everyone was at the end of the day just laughing and having a good time.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's definitely a higher stakes than other games that I'm playing, but like that's still like a fun time. Like every time that we would like have a run that ended badly, we're like, we can do one more. Come on, let's dive back in.
Yeah.
But I have also been playing a much lower stakes game, at least in terms of, I don't know, my stress levels. But there's no other players involved. Yeah. I've been wanting to replay this game for a while, but I'd actually lent it out to our neighbor. So it took a while for me to be like, it's been long enough. I can ask for it back. And that is Tears of the Kingdom. Hey, this game that I talked about a ton on this podcast already, but it's been a while.
You just lend it to keep yourself honest, John? Is that what happened there? So you play other video games?
Probably. Like she asked, she was like, hey, like, do you have Tears of the Kingdom? I was like, yes. And you know what? I don't need to be playing this game right now. And so I lent it away. But then, a year passes and I'm like, yeah, that itch is getting pretty strong right now. And man, I love that game so much. Like, I really just enjoy every aspect of it. I think it's such a game perfectly tailored for exactly what I want. And like, I think I've probably mentioned this on the podcast before, how like every aspect of the game kind of either enables another aspect or like encourages you to do another thing. Like the caves give you the resources to explore the chasm. The chasm gives you resources to like better do other things, or like there's always something that anything you do is making you either get progress towards another thing or just gives you resources to like better enable you to do another thing. And I enjoy every single aspect. I've been using the map a ton. I've like remembered how I like my old system that I had for marking things, where it's like, oh yeah, I don't have to do every puzzle immediately as I come across it. I can just mark it on my map and come back to it at any time. Like I can mark where every like major like enemy is, like especially early on in the game, like you can't take on a Gleeok, so you're just going to like put a little stamp there on the map and I will come back to here like forever. But like then when I'm in the mood, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do like 7 Korok puzzles in a row, or like 5 shrines. Like it's really fun to like kind of have your own like directed gameplay. Like Kevin was mentioning like how you were playing the Capcom arcade collection, but like restricting the amount of coins that you would put in so that you would only have a set amount of continues. And like that self-imposed limitations or directions, I think, is just so important to like these more either unlimited access games in like the Capcom case, but like or like an open world game where you can quote unquote do anything. But it's I'm having a ball just replaying this game that I love and have talked about forever.
That's actually, honestly, because I've been thinking about going back to Breath of the Wild and you saying, like, I mean, I use the stamps to like some degree and like, mark things on the map, but I definitely didn't go that hog wild with it. And I am typically the type of person, like I'm roaming around and I see something. Oh, here we go. Let me go try that. And like, it does seem like sometimes you are more in like a combat mood or more of a puzzle mood or more of a shrine mood. So like it might be a better idea to just mark this stuff like I'm just feeling like exploring right now, which is really the main thing I like about those games, just truly just doing nothing and roaming around and finding a new thing.
Pure distillation.
So it might be fun to just
honestly.
like do that. Yeah, mark it all on the map and then go around and do the things that I'm in the mood to do when I feel like it,
Yeah.
I love that.
But also, the chasm is one of my favorite things in any game. Like I've like talked about how it's the same thing for like Dark Souls 2, where I love torch management and like give me an area that's dark that I have to slowly light up, or like if I don't see the pit in front of me, then it like completely wrecks whatever I had planned. Like, God.
Shoot one of those light flowers or whatever and see how far it falls.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my God, it's still falling. Where on earth is it going?
Yeah.
The chasm was super cool. They did a great job with that whole design. I loved exploring that. And I'm not, like, I hadn't had a lot of good experiences with, like, overly dark gameplay areas. Like, but I think they nailed it there.
Yeah. And like such an elegant way to like do the like stereotypical dark world inversion of like that's a staple in every Zelda game, but like just take what if we just take the map and invert it so every mountain is now a giant pit? And like, it's such a smart way to do it, and it just is reusing the exact same map but somehow making it so much more interesting.
It is. Did you beat Tears of the Kingdom before?
Never
you played it.
This is my third playthrough where I've not beaten this game, and Lauren is so mad at me because she's like, Zelda is. Well, I'm not gonna do it. Never, not saying a spoiler for a game that came out however many years ago, but whatever.
Yeah, especially now. I mean, the Switch 2 versions, I think of both of those came out like at launch too. So I think that they even hypothetically play a little bit, I don't know, smooth. Not that they didn't already play super smooth on Switch for that matter.
Yeah.
So,
but Tears of the Kingdom definitely had a little chuggage, especially if you got into like, you know, building some crazy contraptions and stuff.
Right.
Yep.
But yeah, I've only tested Breath of the Wild a little bit on the Switch 2 with like the Switch expansion pass upgrade. And it looked great.
Nice.
Like it definitely felt super smooth. Like it reminded me of when Mikey was showing us on his computer. I think I said this before when we talked about it on the podcast at some point, or when we were just chatting, but
120 frames per second.
Looked great.
Jeez.
Yeah, something crazy like that. I think this only does 60.
Nintendo would never. Yeah.
I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be like 120 frames per second. I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
They showed it. I saw a commercial for it the other day, and it says supports up to 120 frames per second.
Up to. That's the keyword.
Yeah. Exactly. I think they say that though because only if it's in dock mode. If it's in handheld, it's not. It like pulls it down a little bit.
It must be docked 1080p at most, I would imagine. Switch 2 is not so super powerful, but yeah, I'd be curious to see that.
Not. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Why don't we, if you're good there, John, we can kick it over to Randall here for a little kind of modern neo retro hardware. I don't know exactly what to call it.
That also outputs in 1080p. Yeah.
Heck yeah. I didn't realize this thing outputs, so I'm even more curious.
Yeah. So like I do, I backed a Kickstarter, and then
when
like
was
I do
this Kickstarter?
Yeah, that's a good question because it showed up on Monday, and I was like, "Oh, that thing! I didn't realize this happens pretty often." And I was like, "Whoa, they already shipped that thing!" So that's kind of cool. Yeah, they turned this around pretty quick, though, if I'm being honest. I don't even know if I waited a year on this. It's not going to tell me when it started. But, yeah. So what it is I'm gonna spell it first. I'm going to call it the game. What is this called? The game light gun system. But game is spelled G''AIM''E. So I'm just going to say game. I'll spare everyone from saying that every time I want to. Yeah.
Gaima.
Yeah, I don't know. It was created by this Taisai Denke Co., which I'd not heard of before, but I was very interested because it's a light gun system. Like I said, they are trying to do the light gun experience on modern televisions, which has been an issue ever since CRTs went away. I've spoken of this previously in different regards in my love for, say, the Wii light gun games or other, actual light gun games when we used to get those back when CRTs existed on like original Xbox or PlayStation 2 was kind of the last of that era for that sort of thing. You got a little bit in PlayStation 3 even, but they were even then kind of
that Time Crisis. I remember that Time Crisis came out on PS3.
Yeah,
that's the last one I really remember. Seeing in stores.
Which this has a Time Crisis on it. It's got the original Time Crisis on this mini console. Along with 3 other games. It's got Time Crisis from 1995. It's got the 2 Steel Gunner games, which I'd never heard of before, let alone played.
Same, yeah.
All these are Namco developed, but those 2 games are released 1990 and 1992 respectively, and then Point Blank, which definitely have played and love Point Blank. I love all the Point Blank games, and whenever
those are really cool.
If Tina and I mosey our way into any kind of arcade scenario that has a Point Blank machine, we will play it typically, and that goes back years. Love Point Blank. So I bought a package. You could buy different packages through the Kickstarter campaign, and I got one with 2 light guns for that purpose, so Tina and I could play it. This specific package came with the mini console with those 4 games, as well as a pedal, because Time Crisis, the whole series, notoriously has that pedal system where by pressing the pedal, you come out of your crouched undercover position and into kind of like a shooting position, and it also acts as your ability to reload as opposed to shooting off screen. You press the pedal to reload. So I'll let me start with the good. The good is the light guns. I was even showing them off to the boys here. They feel great. They look great. They feel great. They've got a built-in recoil / vibration effect that feels pretty good too. Like a lot of other arcade guns and light gun setups. So pretty happy with those. Even though the double set, they're both blue, which is a little unfortunate. It's just that already happened when Tina and I were playing last night, and we'd paused for a second, and both the guns are sitting next to each other and they're corded, and you pick them up and say, "Oh, what? You had this controller and I had this one." We flipped them around because they're the same color. But they feel good. The pedal also feels good. I would have preferred if it was a little more weighted, but it's fine. It definitely does the job for a Time Crisis. And that's pretty cool too. Although you can't leave them all plugged in because there's only two USB-C ports on the front. So you kind of have to either have both controllers, both guns plugged in, or one gun and the pedal plugged in to those ports. And the original Time Crisis is only a single-player game, so there's no 2-player element there like there is in the other 3 games. And the games look great. Graphics look super crisp on all of them. The output's great. Steel Gunner 2 kind of carries the theme forward of that kind of sprite scaly 16/32-bit look that apparently everything I play now has to have. So that's fun to have it there too. It looks really cool, and I'm pleasantly surprised with playing that, especially the second one. It's good. It's pretty fun. And it never got a console release. I don't think either one of those Steel Gunner games did. So kind of fun novelty-wise to have them that way, unlike both Time Crisis and Point Blank were PlayStation releases at the very least. So that's all fine. The problem is that it's still doing a workaround. We're still kind of doing magic to make this happen on modern HD TVs. And so it's not as accurate as it could be, I'll say. And this is close to a deal breaker in that regard. It's so every time you boot up this mini console, you have to do a calibration, which is a little frustrating in that, like, how often are people changing TVs? Not that they couldn't pick this up and plug it in someplace else, but like, let me tell the system or let it detect that this is a slightly different setup, you know, as opposed to needing to calibrate every single time I turn it on. And calibration happens by pointing at, like, I don't know, it's at least 6 or 7 different like points on the screen and shoot it 3 times in each one of those points and like the different quadrants of your TV, so it can kind of get the feel with the camera that's on the gun of where it's supposed to, like, where the bounds of the game screen is. But even people online were saying like that might be an issue with the accuracy because that happens in a widescreen capacity with your TV, but all of these games are from a full screen era and are in full screen. So it's might also have something to do with that, like aspect ratio wise, for why it's not as accurate as it could be. It also, like, there's a little bit of like a jitter effect kind of. The closest thing I could approximate it to is like original Wii remote, not Wii Motion Plus, in like whatever, you know, say your sensor wasn't on or connected all the way or having some sort of issue or something, like in the mouse or your like little
exactly
cursor
what you're talking
jitter
about. Or you're
just
like right on the edge of like the boundary, like the range of the Wii remote, and it starts like fizzling in and out and just kind of shaking back and forth. Like it's staying in the same spot basically, kind of, but it's like it's like it's kind of losing like connection in and out or something.
And that's kind of how it felt in games to a decent degree. And it'd be like, if I'm really careful and I'm staying in the same spot where I know the enemy is and not moving too much, it would be fine. But it's like, how often is that the case in a light gun game? The whole point is like super fast action. You know, let me shoot all over this screen before I get hit myself and shoot back the missiles that are coming at me and whatever. And like, I started doing my troubleshooting thing, you know, it says, you know, don't have too many other ambient lights on. Fine. Oh, you're supposed to be this far away from the screen. All right, fine. Like, calibrate it within the game as opposed to when it starts and it's first prompting you to calibrate. Okay, fine. And I got closer to like accurate where I would say, I'm not disappointed to own it now, I guess. Like it could serve a purpose, and I have a 16 port HDMI switch, so it's not like there's a problem that way for plugging shit in. Nice. You know, but but all the same, it wasn't that cheap to get in the first place. It was just like, and I was. And there are other solutions out there too that are not quite as plug and play, but are meant to work for the modern TVs, like these Sinden light guns, or there's like another gun shooter Reaper pack or something. There's different solutions. People know this is a thing that they want in the very niche light gun market, and these people were the first to like get their shit out there with a like plug and play ish solution. But it shows that it's early days, and I don't know that I would outright recommend it for folks. Bummer. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's definitely a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
Although still cool to have, and I'm sure with all those other mini consoles, I'm sure it's not terribly difficult to like add more games to it and stuff like that. Or
it only has those 4 games, and it's designed to only have those 4 games. There's not actually a way to even upload more games to it, which is kind of another downside that way. Yeah.
Okay. I know that like, because there's not a way to add them to like the Super Nintendo Mini or like NES Mini, but I know I've like listened to podcasts where people, I got like every game on.
They hacked those open. That's why.
Yeah. But it actually like runs through the emulation software that's built into the mini console. Right. So that'd be kind of cool if you could. Although with like arcade stuff, it's probably a little bit different. I don't know if that's all just running through MAME or if they're running like the PlayStation versions of those games.
They look like they're nice versions. I think I even was reading that like Time Crisis, they kind of polished it up visually a little bit. I mean, they all look really crisp. Cool. I don't have an issue with that part of it at all.
But that calibration too, like that kind of defeats the purpose of the plug and play console. Like the whole point is just like, I can just like plug it in and fire up. You know, it almost seems like there should just be like a catalog of games, and you just fire at the one you want to play at. Yeah, or you fire at the one you want to play, and just have it boot up immediately. But
there is that menu, but yeah.
I
was gonna ask if like the controllers, like guns, could be compatible with anything else. Like, I don't know, like if there was like another like third party system that had like those games, or someone like tried to like make a game that had that as the controller. I don't know.
I'm curious about that too, because it is just a USB-C, input ultimately. So in theory it could, and it uses, I guess, like high def cameras is how it's doing its magic that way, that are like built into the gun itself. So I guess it depends on how much that mini console is like doing any sort of help processing this whole experience, or would it be possible to do that through, at least a PC, like a hacked PC setup or something that would be awesome. And I hope so, because like I said, the guns are sweet. They feel awesome.
Yeah, they look nice. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And those light gun games are a blast.
The hunt is still on for my final solution for light gun experiences, and I gave away my CRT, so it can't be that. So eventually we'll get somewhere. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a little bit of a bummer, but still, I'm always like, you got me a little bit like kind of perked up, and like my interest is peaked to be like on the hunt a little bit for some of these light gun solutions as well, because those games are a blast. And that actually, if you're good there, Randall, that's actually kind of a perfect transition to go into the game that I'm going to talk about. Not necessarily that it's a light gun game, but it is a game on the original Wii. And as soon as you start talking about the light guns, I was like, the Wii was kind of the last era, and it wasn't a perfect solution, but it kind of got the job done. I feel like those games needed to have a cursor on the screen.
Yeah.
They didn't really work to just like have you blind firing.
No.
And having like a little flash show up. I feel like I never played a game that worked quite like that, but
I thought it did quite well. I have no qualms with the Wii light gun games and the way that they went about it. I thought the accuracy was quite good for that.
Yeah, accuracy was spot on, even pre-Motion Plus or anything. Because some of those games were put out pretty early on in the console's life, and they worked pretty well.
They do.
And I guess just speaking of the motion controls, though, the game that I do want to talk about here, I recently scooped up and added to my Wii collection. I've talked about on the podcast a bunch of times recently, just going to all these different video game shops in the area. And for whatever reason, Excite Truck and Excite Bots, I guess Excite Bots I don't really see around too often.
Yeah.
But Excite Truck I see all the time. But for whatever reason, the copies are always like a little bit beat up. And actually, for the longest time, I thought they were all like sun bleached, but actually that's just like the way the logo looks on the spine.
Yeah.
It's just, I might have said this to you guys before, because I feel I'm having deja vu. But it just looks a little washed out. Too.
Yeah, so
it just looks a little washed out. But when you look at the front of the game, it looks fine. And I've seen enough of the copies out in the wild now where I'm like, okay, they all look like that. And there's no way that these were all sitting in the front window of a store for, over a year.
Spine like facing. Yeah,
exactly. I was like, there's just no way. So I'm at this point for under $10. I think I got them both for like either $8 or $9. I don't know what I paid for.
That's a steal.
And at the end of the day, but they were, around $10 each. And the one that I've put the most time into is Excite Truck. I played a little bit of Excite Bots, but also just to give a quick shout out, I love that like the Wii brought back, I guess not that these are really anything like Excite Bike or anything like that, but like with the like bringing back the Excite series and like Punch Out making a comeback.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they were like bringing back some like long dormant series. I guess those are only two examples, but even like Battalion Wars 2, not that was, they had a, release on the previous generation, but they're just like some series that like got an entry, or games that, got an entry in the series that you might not expect.
Oh yeah.
On the Wii.
Yeah, I was psyched about that. They were really trying to dive into the back catalog a little bit there over time on the Wii, which I loved.
Yeah, especially because I feel like they just thought, hey, everybody bought one of these. And like a lot of people have memories about these old franchises. Why not cash in? And it paid off in a lot of cases. And with Excite Truck here, I absolutely love this game. I said to you guys in the chat that this might be one of my favorite racing games ever. And it pretty much, I can pretty much say that it is one of my favorite racing games ever. The only thing that I don't love about it is that I guess the racing, at least in like the main like mode, is not actually the main thing that matters. Like it doesn't matter what place you come in. You're just trying to rack up enough like stars on a race to get the ranking that you need, which by coming in first place, you get 50 bonus stars. So obviously it like matters to a degree, but there were times, I think there was even a time I got an S ranking that I came in like third place, but I just had done enough like tricks and, speed boosts and drifts, like, cause you're just getting stars for pretty much doing almost anything. Like even if you crash, I think you get stars. Like there's like a few things that like work a little bit confusing in this game. Like it almost feels like it's like pulling a little bit of DNA from like the Burnout series, but like not quite knowing what to do with it. Cause like, yeah, I'll be in the middle of a race. You get like bonus stars for doing what they call a tree run, which is like going through like off road and just like weaving through the trees and not hitting anything. But then if you crash, it like pulls up this like meter that's like mash on the, the 2 button or whatever on the Wii remote. Cause you play this with the Wii remote turned sideways and then it's all motion controls. Otherwise, like you're just, doing Mario Kart style Wii motion steering. I even dug out my Wii wheel.
Nice.
Which I didn't love playing with it. Like it didn't work quite right. And this game was released before that even came out.
Right.
Cause it shows like on the back of the box of Excite Bots, it shows that you can use the wheel, but it doesn't show it on the back of Excite Truck. So Mario Kart Wii must have not been out when this first came out. But
that makes sense.
The motion controls are honestly, like, they're what make the game to me. Like something about the like unwieldiness of the controls and like the just having to like, especially so the main thing with this game are the jumps, like the way you go airborne and then the sense of speed. Like I am just playing this game. I actually have played through every single cup, every race. Got all but 2. I have like, you have to get a B ranking or better. And there's 2 I still need to finish. And I think I can do it because I just watched a trailer for the game the other day. I just like was looking it up online. I was like, I wonder what the commercials were like for this game. Not a trailer, like an actual like 30-second commercial.
Did they have a commercial for that game?
They did. They had this like, maybe it was like a YouTube ad because it didn't really feel like it would have been a commercial, but I don't know if that would have been too early for a YouTube ad, but it was like a kid just like sitting like a teenager, like sitting on the edge of his seat, like, like getting really into it with the motion controls and like, getting all sweaty at the end of it. And then it was just like, feel the rush. I don't know what it said at the end, but it was really lame. But nonetheless, he was doing, at one point he did like a little movement with the not with the joystick, with the Wii remote, to do like tricks. And I thought that was only in Excite Bots. I didn't think they added tricks into the first game. So
I'd forgotten about that too.
Yeah, I thought it was all about just getting like jumps and big air. And the other cool thing is like throughout each track, there's like all these little like, I don't know, they're just like pickups, like a marker on the map, but it's almost like kind of like a pickup you would pick up like a weapon or whatever, a question box in Mario Kart, but there'll just be like one of them in a designated spot. And if you hit it, it like changes the terrain of the map. So like you'll hit that and then it'll just like all of a sudden like a huge ramp will just spring up in front of you, or like, and you'll get stars for that. Cause you'll like, if a truck or if a different car is in front of you and you do that at a certain time and it launches them, it'll be like, oh, a truck toss. And you get stars for that. And I didn't even finish the thought. You smash into a tree and then you just mash the button. And if you mash it fast enough, you just like immediately respawn with a speed boost, like really fast. Like sometimes I end up better off than before I hit the tree. So I'm like, you're not really getting punished. You're almost encouraged to do these crashes, and you can like take out other trucks, but it's just this, I've just never played a racing game that has such a crazy sense of speed and the jumps. And I am just like, I'm playing by myself. And part of the reason I'm standing up is because I'm in pain a lot at the time. So like sitting down for extended periods of time is not great for me. Right. But like, I'm like standing up, just like playing this game and like really getting into the motion controls. Oh, yeah. And I'm like giggling at how just fast I'm going. And like, it's just insane. Like at one point I played the, like, I don't know what they call the mode, but it's like, there's a separate from the racing. There's like these single player, like, quest modes or whatever. And it was like, you're supposed to just go through these gates and you just keep building up speed and building up speed and building up speed. And you're just like slaloming through these gates. And it just kept going. And it's like, I think you had to do like 150 gates to clear the mission. This is the first mission in the game. And by the point I got to like I wasn't even at 100 or what, I wasn't even 2/3 of the way through whatever the total was. And I was going so fucking fast. I was like, I have no control over this car. And it was amazing. I don't know how to explain how fun it was. And because the motion controls aren't picture perfect, and then also you have this like, I haven't been this excited talking about a game. I can just like hear it in my own voice. I'm like, man, I'm like jumping off the edge of my seat here.
Excite Truck's about to be game of the year. Let's do it.
It was seriously, man. Like it's like, so you can hold down. The only thing the D-pad does is if you hold down, I think any button on the D-pad, but I always press up. Maybe it's just the up button, but it's like basically your nitro boost. And then that has like a meter, like it kind of goes up with your speedometer. And like you can get to the point of overheating and you can like push it right to the edge and then let it cool down and then push it a little more.
That's that Excite Bike DNA right there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But then there'll be certain parts and certain tracks that are like you're going through some shallow water. And if you're in the water, your meter doesn't go up at all, or it instantly cools down if you have it up at the top. So you can be like, okay, I'm going to take this route, even though it's a little bit longer about this around this round way, but I can just hold down the nitro the whole time and just rip through here. Or you'll get like essentially like a star power. So you can just rip through the trees and you're just barreling through them and smashing them or smashing the cactuses or cacti. And it's just, I don't know, man. The sense of speed in this game, it's unmatched. I've never played a racing game like F-Zero. Eat your heart out. It is so fun. Actually, some of those F-Zero games are crazy on the speed too.
Oh yeah, they are.
But it's honestly the most fun I've had with a game that I've popped in from any of these games I've scooped up at the game stores or whatever recently. For sure. Like I planned on just popping it in to be like, oh, that's what Excite Truck is, and I'm done with it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to clear every mission or every race on this. I'm probably not going to do all the missions, but I'm like, I'm going to get all the stars for all the races. And then I'm going to try to do the same thing with Excite Bots if I'm having as much fun. Nice. I played a little bit of that and it seemed like it was a little more gimmicky. Yeah. Like you would like, there were parts where like you would like, you had this like big hook arm on like the top of your car and you'd
start
like
spinning,
hit this pole, and then you got to like wiggle the Wii remote, like literally do like this circular motion to loop it. And you got to do it literally 10 times before you launch off the thing. And it's like, okay, if this is in every race, I will probably get sick of this.
I was waiting for your impressions about that because I figured that's how that would go. Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely seeming like that's not a cool mechanic because it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like in like the Mario Party games on the Wii. Like I much preferred the games that were just like mash the button as fast as you can, as opposed to wiggle the Wii remote as fast as you can, because there's more of a skill to mashing a button than there is to wiggling a Wii remote. I don't know why, but there just is.
Burns the finger out.
And I don't know why I care about skill in a fucking Mario Party minigame, but I just apparently.
But I remember that exact feeling, like playing the Wii Mario Party and like, it's just like shake the Wiimote as fast as you can. I was like, this series used to be about skill.
Yeah, it used to, like, that felt like it was just a free for all. Where like back in the day, like when we played the button mashing mini games, it was like me and my one friend, and we were the only two that could compete in those mini games.
Oh yeah, you know, where like that mini game star. Bonus star.
When the wiggling got introduced, and they got rid of the minigame star in that version too. So that Wii version, that's the worst Mario Party in my opinion that I've played.
I don't know. But I ever really played much of those.
Yeah. Excite Truck is maybe the best game in the Excite series.
I thought he was going to say the best Wii game. Yeah.
Honestly, if Mario Galaxy wasn't on the system, I would borderline go there. No, because you got Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Yes, you
got
do.
Kirby's Epic Yarn. You got a lot of good games on there.
Oh yeah,
you got a lot of good games.
There's some real
bangers
on there.
It is really good.
Yeah.
If you're in the market for fun, and I'm just playing single player, so I can only imagine that multiplayer is a blast. Other than you would lose some of the screen real estate by splitting the screen, so that might make it even harder to like control the speed and unwieldiness of the car. But
I'm bummed neither one of us bought this back at launch, because the reviews were like kind of middling at the time, and it was a $50 game or whatever, and you know, it's just like, I don't have a ton of money, let me get this and the other thing and not Excite Truck, even though I was a huge Excite Bike fan growing up too. Is one of the handful of NES cartridges I had. I loved making tracks tracks on that and whatever else, and it was infinitely replayable. So I don't know why I never got back around to Excite Truck originally. I did buy Excite Bots for like $10 at some point, but not Excite Truck. But damn, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I seriously have been like, just having the most fun I've had with a game in a long time.
Man.
Yeah, highly recommended, especially, because you can find it for
nothing.
I see it every time I go to a game shop.
Oh, yeah.
You know, whether or not the quality of that copy will be up to your standard is another thing. But nonetheless, you can easily find a copy for sub $10. Man.
Yeah, I'm on the lookout for it. You've convinced me.
I hope I don't. Same. I hope I have not like overselling it, but I'm seriously.
No, but like you're selling it for just like dumb fun, which is exactly what I would like want from it.
Same.
Yeah. And every time I failed, I was like, let's just try it again.
Yeah.
That was a blast. And like the laps are pretty long, and every track, like some tracks are 3 laps, some are 1 lap, some are 2 laps. Like it just depends on how huge the track is. And there's a ton of branching paths and forks in the road. It's just awesome. It is awesome. Nice. Only other complaint is it takes a long time to unlock stuff. You got to keep like but I don't know. I think it's from getting stars, like cumulative, kind of like Mario Kart, like the cumulative coins you get on each run or what like rack up and unlock things. So it's like, I don't know. I went through the whole campaign and it looks like there's still like 8 more cars I can still unlock. So it's like, man, I got to play the shit out of this game if I want to unlock everything. But I don't care about that. I'm having so much fun.
Nice.
Doesn't matter.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You paid what, like $4 for this? What'd you pay for it?
It might have been like 8 or 9. It was closer to 10, I think, but it was under 10 for sure.
Amazing.
For sure, yeah. And honestly, I got it at one of the stores where I get like the buy 4, get 1 free, or buy 5, get 1 free. It was a day where I bulked up and bought a few games. So I got one of them for free. So that shaved off, $1 or $2 of whatever the list price was.
Fantastic.
So yeah, just a blast. But I've done enough gushing at this point. Anything else you guys want to gab about before we wrap things up here? Or?
No, sir.
No gabba.
Good deal. As always, you can find us on the internet at pursuingpixels.com or just look up Pursuing Pixels and you can probably find us somewhere. And until next week, we'll catch you then and take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I know whenever I'm editing my sections where I'm not talking and I'm just like responding to people, I'm like literally all I do is go, yeah.
No, I hate that. That's the
nice.
Every time I hear my own voice when I'm not like actually having a conversation, I'm like, shut the fuck up, dog. You don't need to respond.
I think that every time, especially
it's a universal experience.
Because I think it every time too, because I'm like, I chime in probably more than anyone, and then I'm like, and then it makes editing just that much more annoying for me. I have to sit there and edit out all these extra things. I'm like, I just shut my fucking mouth.
No,
I never have to edit in that.
Midwestern tendencies that way.
I know. Well, I start to feel like almost like bad that if someone's been talking for a long time and no one's responded.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want John to think I'm not interested in the game he's talking about. Says, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Cut the lettuce. Cut the lettuce.
That's so funny. That's so funny.